All right, hey, good morning. It is I, your host, Pogo Kiddo, with yet another episode of Redstone, Lapis, Lazuli. Hello, hello. Let's see. Hold on. Let me switch back to Minecraft. There we go. Oh, dude, here. Where am I? All right, I guess that's cool. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, there we go. Hey, good morning. Uh, it is Sunday morning. I'm waking up. I'm sleeping better now. It's easier for me to sleep because uh, it's not so hot. I really think the heat messes up my ability to sleep, and that messes up everything else. Like I go to bed early and I wake up early. Like look, I'm starting on at my normal time because I woke up like at my normal time, like refreshed. Whereas before I was waking up at 6 o'clock exhausted. So I don't know. I like wintertime and fall better because it matches my sleep schedule better. Maybe I should be nomadic. And follow the winter. All right. Okay. So yeah. What have I done here on Minecraft? La 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 la. Going. Yeah. Okay. Look at this right angle. Two right angles. 180 degrees. 180 degrees. Um. Yeah. But this is 180 degrees, but the circle goes around 360 degrees around the entirety of the island. I have yet to finish the rail line. It's not done yet. And then obviously I have to like start figuring out ways to make stops so that like if you wanted to, you could stop. All right. So yeah, I've been working on this thing here for a little bit. Not probably as much as I should have been, but you know things are a little bit nuts right now. Things are. I mean, shit, I say that every weekend because things get increasingly insane. Um, yeah, it just gets worse and worse. Like I'm waiting for it to like improve. I'm hoping it's gonna improve. And I think the thing that needs to happen for it to improve is Donald Trump needs to be indicted and then put into prison. But it's not happening. And now we're at the danger where democracy itself could be lost because because our lawmakers in the last session couldn't get it together. Well, not that they couldn't get it together, but that they were sabotaged by white supremacists. So that puts our democracy in danger coming up. So if Donald Trump hasn't yet been indicted, and then the Democrats lose control of the government and fascists take over, is Donald Trump ever going to be indicted? I think that's what's going on with the whole thing. Like they're just delaying as long as possible, uh, until Republicans can take power again, and then they can make everything go away. Who's they? I don't know. Like we already know that the Justice Department, the FBI, has pro-Trump faction inside of it. We know this because the FBI leaked information about Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. The right wing has been going after Joe Biden's son for a really, really long time. For whatever they can get him on. For whatever they can get him on. And but like there's no charges yet. There's nothing yet. But a couple of days ago, it was leaked. The FBI leaked that there's quote enough information to indict. There's enough evidence to indict on a process charge. They haven't done it. The Department of Justice hasn't done it, and that information was leaked. It wasn't leaked about Donald Trump or anything. No, because that would have hurt Donald Trump. But it was leaked about Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, because it would hurt Joe Biden in the coming election. They could try to blame Joe Biden, pin it on Joe Biden somehow, tarnish Joe Biden, or use that as an excuse to impeach Biden in 2023 if the Republicans take the House. So there's all sorts of nefarious things that could go on. Like, it's not a good faith investigation. But the Department of Justice leaked it. And they didn't leak it because it hurts Joe Biden. But they didn't leak information that would have hurt Donald Trump. So that tells you that there's a pro-Trump faction inside the FBI. Rudy Giuliani in 2016 on Fox News said on an interview, he said he had information coming up about Hillary Clinton that was going to be really bad. And then a couple days later, James Comey reopened the investigation into Hillary Clinton, like days before, like the week before the election. It was so obviously a leak meant to hurt Hillary Clinton. And of course it went nowhere, but it was information designed to hurt Hillary Clinton. So inside the FBI, there's a faction loyal to Donald Trump that leaks information that hurts the enemies of Donald Trump, but doesn't leak information that would hurt Donald Trump. That's what's going on. But this would be less of an issue if the Department of Justice would indict Donald Trump. They already had enough information to indict Donald Trump for obstruction of justice under the Mueller investigation. Once you indict someone, that changes a lot of stuff. It's going to be a lot harder to fundraise when you're indicted. And they can continue to investigate all the other crimes he's done, but you got to hold him accountable for the one he's doing. You can't sit there holding it until he stops criming, and then you can hold him accountable. No, you have to hold him accountable so that he stops criming. Oh my God. So I don't understand what's the deal with this Justice Department. It could be that the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, is afraid. He's afraid that if he tries to indict Donald Trump, the pro-Trump faction inside the Department of Justice will mutiny against him and do all sorts of damage to the United States. Because this FBI, this rogue FBI group that's loyal to Donald Trump is on Team Russia. They're on Team Russia, de facto on Team Russia. Yeah, with Putin. They're acting to help Donald Trump and to thwart the United States. They do so through information warfare. What we've been talking about forever. So yeah, that could be one of the reasons why Merrick Garland has not indicted Donald Trump yet, because he's afraid that unless he's got rock solid everything, that the rogue faction inside the FBI is going to ruin things. And you would think, well, isn't he like the boss of the Department of Justice? Can't he fire those FBI agents that are rogue? Well, maybe he doesn't know who they are yet. Like, he doesn't know who leaked this information. Like he does. Like, there's no indication the information's even real. The reporter could just be lying or have been tricked. But see how it all loops around? Yes, it's the loop. I just got to finish the rail line for it, which is a lot harder in in creative because, like, it doesn't count for me how many steps I'm going. For example, it has to go 1, 2, 3, and then now I need 32, but I don't want to count it. I can fill my inventory with. No, I can't. Like, how do they do that? How do they fill their inventory with tracks? That's all I want to do. I want to fill my inventory. But I don't want to drop it. It's like, I can't like fill my inventory with rails. You see what I mean? Like, I can like do this, I guess. I can fill my hotbar with it. I need that. All right. Okay, and then I can switch it to creative or to survival. Game mode. Sir. Dude. Okay. Right there. Not 64. See, I can do it. Count for me. Solved my problem. Okay, yeah, but now I can't talk because I have to pay attention to this. So that's no good either. But for next time, right? For next time. La la la. All right. Well, now I can do that another time. La la la. Nice, nice. Also, I've changed it. This used to be with bump mapping, and I went back to regular. I like the regular better. It looks a lot better. It just looks better, and it runs better too. It looks better and it runs better. Like, yeah, maybe the bump mapping or the height map, whatever, isn't as bumpy, but it looks better and it runs better. Who cares? Who cares if it's not actually bumpy? It looks bumpy, and that's all I need, right? A lot of Minecraft isn't actually whatever. It just looks that way. Yeah, Taiwan. I just read a study that just came out, a paper story just came out that did a survey of the Taiwanese people, and a majority of Taiwanese people like are looking at the Ukraine crisis and are like, yeah, we need to defend ourselves. Because China, like, yeah, China has said it will use force to take back control of Taiwan. That means basically kill all the Taiwanese people to control the island. So, all right, enough of that. Here, let me go look at what else do we got here? Ba 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 da ba da ba 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 da. Yeah, just so you know what's going on with the Ukraine with Russia. Why is Ukraine so concerned about kicking Russia out of its borders? Well, we can see here that in recently liberated whatever town that is in Kharkiv Oblast, Ukrainian forces found evidence of a torture chamber, including a bucket of dental implants. So basically, the Russian troops would gather the Ukrainian civilians and like torture them and rip out their dental implants because they might have precious metals in them that they could use, that the Russians could use. Yeah, that's how bad the Russians are. That's why the Ukrainians are fighting really, really hard to expel the Russians from their territory, because the Russians are acting like Nazis. Oh man, what else do I got here? I'm kind of tired. I was like raging this morning, like earlier, because because in Minden, Nevada, Donald Trump gave a rally in Minden, Nevada. I know Minden, Nevada, dude. I grew up around there, Minden, Nevada. And that town is a sundown town. It's a sundown town. They have a siren that goes off around like 5 o'clock to tell all the non-white, all the Native Americans to go inside. They still do the siren to this day. It's a sundown town. It's a town controlled by white supremacists. Minden, Nevada. It's a town controlled by white supremacists. Back during Black Lives Matters, Black Lives Matter, some activists did a protest. All they did was stand on the side of the road and say Black Lives Matters. And the sheriff said that he would not protect the Black Lives Matter people from anything. He's not going to protect them. He's not going to protect them. So what happened were all the white supremacists got together and like harassed and attacked the group of Black Lives Matter activists with the help of the sheriff. The sheriff saw it happening and stood away and made sure that the Black Lives Matter activists didn't fight back. So the white supremacists got to harass and attack the Black Lives Matter activists with the help of the sheriff in Minden, Nevada. It's a racist town. It's run by white supremacists. I know. I grew up around there. I know. I totally know. It's a white supremacist town. So Donald Trump goes to this white supremacist ass town called Minden, Nevada, full of white supremacists. White supremacists. They're white supremacists. Understand, the people there are white supremacists. They vote for, they may not be the one to push you in the gas chamber, but they'll vote to hire someone to do it for them. They're white supremacists. So this town of white supremacists had a Trump rally. Donald Trump, white supremacist traitor who worked with Vladimir Putin to overthrow American democracy. Yeah, they love it. They love it. These white supremacists. So he goes there and he's promoting a guy who's running for Secretary of State in Nevada called Jim Marchant. Jim Marchant. This guy is an election denier. He lost his election in 2022, and he stood on stage with Donald Trump, and he said that if he takes control if he gets elected Secretary of State in Nevada, that he will overturn the election for Republicans. He just said it outright. He said it outright. His plan is to overthrow the United States. And the way they're going to do it is by electing Republicans to be Secretary of State in key states. Then, when the time comes in 2024 for the presidential election, if the voters of those key states vote for the Democrat, then the Republican Secretary of States will throw out the election and substitute the Republican, their own choice, for the winner. That way, they can ensure that the winner of the 2024 election will be a Republican, because they're gonna make sure, not because the voters want it, but because they're going to enforce their will. I'm not lying, dude. I'm not lying. Listen.
You. Secondly, last year I established a MAGA, America First coalition of Secretary of State candidates around the country, and I'm
So he's got a collection of insurrectionists, of traitors, right? These are traitors. They want to overthrow the Constitution. They want to throw out your vote and substitute their judgment. That's what they want to do. They're telling you what they want to do outright. These are traitors, right? These are Nazis. They may look like normal people, but they're actually Nazis, right? American Nazis. This is what American Nazis look like. Behind them, those are people that live in Minden, Nevada. Those are Nazis too. Nazis. They're American Nazis. Look at what they look like.
speaking mainly now for the people that are watching live stream and on TV. We're going to elect Mark Fincham in Arizona and Kerry Lake in Arizona. They are MAGA.
So MAGA, when he says MAGA, he's saying traitors. They're traitors. They're traitors. They're insurrectionists who are trying to overthrow democracy. So those people in Arizona who he mentioned, he's counting on them to overturn the election in Arizona and make sure that it's going to go for the Republicans. They want to get rid of democracy, right? They're overthrowing democracy. They're Nazis. Nazis. They're Nazis.
We're going to elect Christina Caramo in Michigan. She's one of our coalition members.
She's a Nazi too, right? He's listing off the Nazis, the people who they're planning a coup to overthrow the government. He's telling you the names of the Nazis, of the co-conspirators to overthrow the government in the United States. And all these people behind him are fellow Nazis. They may not push you in the gas chamber, but they'll vote for someone to do it for them.
Members, Audrey Trujillo in New Mexico, Chuck Gray in Wyoming, Diego Morales in Indiana. If we get Kayla Campbell in Massachusetts.
These are all Nazis who are in a coup, in an insurrection plan to overthrow democracy in the United States. Their plan is to take over the Secretary of States in these key states. And then when the vote comes in and the vote goes for someone they don't want, they will throw out that vote and substitute their own vote. That's how they're going to ensure that their candidate wins the election in 2024, because they're going to rig it. They're rigging it. They're literally rigging it. They're telling you that they're going to rig it.
Believe it or not, if we get all of our secretaries of state elected around the country like this, we take our country back.
Who is this we? Who is this we that's taking the country back? White supremacists, Confederates, Nazis. The Confederates lost the Civil War, but they want to come back. They want to take their country back. The Confederates literally want to destroy the United States and take it back for the Confederacy. He's telling you who they are. He's telling you. He's telling you. These are all Nazi Confederate traitors. All of them. All of them.
Now, we're making...
Yeah, fuck off. So, here, let's zoom in on a particular Nazi in Minden, right? This guy right here. Well, here, before I do that, remember, like, I want to go back. Okay, we have the Russian technique. We Americans call it reflexive control, but the Russians call it active measures. And what that is, it's a way of destroying people's brains so they're unable to think. They're unable to come to any kind of rational thought, any kind of rational conclusion. Right? And it's been done to Americans for a long time. And you saw it last time. I showed you a clip a few weeks ago about how a guy was unable to believe his own eyes looking at folders that say top secret. He was unable to believe it because his leader told him not to see it. So he disbelieved his own body to believe the leader. That's how bad this brainwashing is. Now here's an example of brainwashing, of how bad the brainwashing can be. This is a Nazi in Minden.
And the thing that really makes me mad about Ukraine.
So the thing that makes him angry about Ukraine. What makes this guy angry about Ukraine? Like, I'm pretty angry. What makes me angry about Ukraine is that Vladimir Putin invaded a sovereign nation and just to steal their stuff. Like, their soldiers came in and they stole the children and shipped them into Russia to be their workforce. And then they stole all their items to ship them back to Russia, and they tortured and killed their people, and they ripped out their dental implants. That's how bad they are. Now, they're basically Nazis. That's what makes me angry about the whole Ukraine thing, is because Russians are fucking Nazis. That's what makes me angry. What makes you angry? Oh my God, that makes me angry. What makes you angry, Mr. Man? What makes you angry about the whole thing?
We put the bioweapon labs under Obama, and
what the fuck are you talking about, you moron? What the fuck are you talking about? There's no bioweapons labs. What the hell are you talking about? You are repeating what Russia said. You're repeating what the Russians said. That's what the Russians are saying. Are you saying you're with the Russians? Are you saying you're with the people who rip out dental implants for the medals? Is that what you're telling me? That you're with them because you're repeating what they're saying?
Obama said, "Oh yeah, we'll give up the nukes and we got your back." We helped cause this with Ukraine under Obama.
That's what the Russians said. The Russians are saying that the United States forced Russia to invade Ukraine. But that's what the Russians saying. This guy is saying he's with the Russians. This guy is saying, "Oh yeah, I'm totally cool with ripping out dental implants from civilians for the precious metals. Oh yeah, I'm totally cool with stealing Ukrainian children to ship back to Russia to be slaves." Oh yeah, that's what he's saying. This is what this guy is saying. He is anti-United States, anti-Ukraine, and pro-Russia. That's what this guy is saying. He's a fucking Nazi. He's a Nazi.
So
he may not push you in the gas chamber, but he'll vote for someone else to do it for him.
I understand why Russia's in there doing what they're doing with.
No, you don't. You understand why Russia's in there doing what they're doing? I understand the imperialistic need to invade and conquer and kill people. I guess, right? He's a white supremacist. Of course he would. Look what he's saying. He's a white supremacist. So he understands the desire to invade other people's lands, to kill and murder them, to steal their children, to rape their women and take their land and take all their goods. He totally understands it because he's a white supremacist. He identifies with it, right? He's against the American multiracial democracy. He doesn't want multiracial democracy. He's a white supremacist. He understands Russia's imperialistic need.
The whole denazification of the Donbass region because so many Ukrainian nationalists.
Oh, so he's repeating the Russian propaganda. Like, the guy's basically a Russian idiot. He's what they say is a useful tool. Like, Russia's not paying him. There's no, like, he doesn't get a check from the KGB. He's just stupid. He's just doing the work for Putin, just because he's a fellow Nazi. He feels a kinship. You know, he feels a kinship. He's like, "Oh yeah, I understand wanting to murder other people and take their stuff. Let's be friends." So he repeats the Russian propaganda over and over and over again. It's Russian propaganda over and over again. Listen to him. He's a fucking Nazi.
Seem to be full-blown Nazis these days.
Yeah, you are a full-blown Nazi. Look at the fucking shit you're wearing, dude. Look at what you're wearing, you fucking Nazi.
A lot of the media I've seen come out of the Russians taking POW. These guys got swastikas all over them tattooed.
So That makes me wonder, why are you watching media from Russia? Why would you be watching media from Russia? Russia's our enemy. Russia attacked us. Russia overthrew the election in 2016. Russia put a bounty on our troops in Afghanistan. Russia is the one who helped Assad kill everyone in Syria. Russia's currently attacking Ukraine. Why would you watch Russian media and believe anything they tell you? Oh, it's because you're one of them. You're a fucking Nazi. This guy's a Nazi. This guy's a Nazi.
And I'm like, oh, our media doesn't like to play that, though. It's really interesting how that works.
Yeah. Why would American media play Russian propaganda? Why would American media play Russian propaganda? Why? This guy's a Nazi. He doesn't understand that he's a Nazi. He doesn't see it, but that's because he's brainwashed, right? He doesn't have any idea of what he gave up on the idea of truth. That's the thing. Because once you give up on the idea of ever knowing what is true, then you can do a both sides. Both sides are the same. Both sides are the same. If nothing is true, then sure, everything is the same. This is the same as this. This is the same as this. This is the same as this. When there's no truth, everything's the same as everything. When there's no truth, everything is the same as everything. He's lost his brain. He's brainwashed. He's a Nazi. He may not push you in the gas chamber, but he'll vote for someone to do it for him. You think I'm acting kind of crazy, and I kind of am, because it's to get you to understand that these people have a real big plan to take over the country and implement their plan to put you in a gas chamber. I mean, Elon Musk is sitting here parroting Russian propaganda, and he's trying to buy Twitter. What do you think he's going to use Twitter for? His best friend, Kanye West, came back to Twitter and started spouting fucking anti-Semitism. Nazi shit. He started spouting Nazi shit. His friend Kanye West jumped on Twitter and started spouting Nazi shit this morning. I can't believe it. We're literally fighting Nazis again. And they're in the United States, and they look like your neighbor. So, to make it more local, right? Back down here in Oregon, we have the governor's race. Oregon hasn't had a Republican governor since 1950, but this race is different because this time we have this quote conservative Betsy Johnson who's running as a third party candidate, independent, but really all she's doing is acting as a spoiler because now, because of her presence in the race, she split the Democratic vote. And now the Republican is in the lead. Remember, Republicans are white supremacists. They want to overthrow democracy in the United States. So the way you would fix that kind of problem is implementing ranked choice voting. But we're not there yet. We're here in the present where this is a possibility. And then what was the other thing? And I drove by the Capitol building in Salem, and there was a Nazi rally there. There was a Nazi rally. I showed up, I drove by, and there was a bunch of Proud Boys. You know, the Proud Boys are that gang, the brown shirt Nazi gang that Donald Trump calls upon to do stuff. They helped with the January 6th insurrection, the Proud Boys, yeah. So they were there at this Nazi rally downtown in Salem. And it was like really, really set up. They had a huge stage with a giant banner and all the metal supports and all these vendors around in a giant pit to make a giant pit on a huge stage. So it was set up like professionally. It was set up big time. And they had a bunch of gang members, right? Proud Boy gang members all around. They're traitors. they're fascists. They're Nazis. And but inside of it, inside the little group, there wasn't very many people. So they had a whole bunch of setup, a lot of money, and a lot of vendors. A lot of money went into setting this up, but there was like not very much organic support. If that makes any sense to you. Like the thing didn't come from Salem, that's what I'll tell you, right? because there was very little local support for it. There wasn't a lot of people at this event, but there was a lot of money to set it up, to set up the huge stage and all the lights and the banners and get to all the vendors there. There was a lot of work to put into it. And they had a lot of Proud Boys there. There's a lot of Proud Boys. But yeah, they Proud Boys are a group dedicated to overthrowing the United States. They've already tried. They worked with Donald Trump to work the January 6th insurrection coup attempt. So got to be careful of them. But they're trying, right? But what was funny to me was that at this Nazi rally, there was a measure that was against the gun control measure that we have going on here in Salem, Oregon. But also who's against the gun control measure here in Salem, Oregon are like anarchists. So I'm like, well, how can anarchists and fascists both be against gun control? Like, what? What's going on here? And then the primary concern I hear from the anarchists is that the main arbiters of who's gonna, give out these gun permits will be local law enforcement. So I believe, and the text says that it would go to the state police, not to the local jurisdiction, but the state police. However, I looked into it more, and it would basically the state police would delegate that authority to local jurisdictions. So it would be local police who would be making the determinations. So okay, fine. I understand that local police can be corrupted by white supremacy organizations such as Proud Boys. I understand that. I see it here now. Like, I've seen it. The Salem police are like, yeah, they work really closely with the Proud Boys. I see it. So I looked at how does California do it? And California, they pass off their background check to the Department of Justice, the feds. I don't know how they do that or how it gets funded, but I think if we're gonna do gun control in Salem, we should do something similar to California in Salem in Oregon. We should do something similar to Oregon, including the magazine limit. Like, I know a bunch of gun owners hate the magazine limit, but I don't care. Like, there's no need for it. There's no need for it. And there's no need for an extended magazine round. You don't need it. And it will save lives. So yeah, I will vote against Measure 114 only because of the way the law is crafted. Not because I'm against the idea in principle, but because the way the law was crafted. It gives too much power to local police jurisdictions as to whether or not you can get a firearm or not. And I don't necessarily trust local police jurisdictions. With my own experience and with the experiences of people I know, their experiences that I've heard and seen. Yeah, one local activist got awarded a couple $1 million or something because while she was sitting down protesting during the George Floyd riots, or not riots, protests, while she was, because in Salem we had them too, right? But all she did was sit in the road, and they shot her face with a rubber bullet and messed up her eye. And almost, I think she like went partially blind in her eye. All she did was sit in the road, and they shot her in the face with a rubber bullet. Right? Do you want those people deciding whether or not you should have a gun? I don't think they should have guns. Did you see that clip where the cop tries to carjack some teen and empties his gun into the car as the teen flees away, and the teen like survived because he drove to like a hospital? But yeah, the cop just rolled up on him out of nowhere, opened the door, and like started shooting at him. It was crazy. It was crazy. And the worst that happened to him was he got fired. Like, what? That guy's not in prison? What? Dude. Yeah, Elon Musk was doing Russian mind control stuff. He was doing the active measures. He was doing them. He was using them. So Elon Musk has a huge platform. A bunch of like white tech bros love him. I don't know why, but he's an apartheid guy. I hate Elon Musk. Anyways, Elon Musk is on Team Russia now. I don't know what happened, but Elon Musk is on Team Russia. So he put out a poll, and the way he worded the poll was assuming as if Russia already grabbed its stuff and it was over and it was done. And he wanted to act as if it were already finished, and he put out a poll. And if you answered the poll, it meant that you bought into his assumption that it was already finished. Just by answering the poll. Just by answering it. So that's an example of reflexive control. He made you buy into his assumptions just by answering the poll. You didn't overtly say that you're going to agree to the assumptions, but you tacitly agree to them by answering the poll. And then once you've answered the poll, now you move on to discussion as if the thing happened, because someone might have an opposite opinion, but you argue then this thing based on something that didn't actually happen, but it's in your head that it did now. That's how reflexive control works, active measures. So Elon Musk put out this poll that made the assumption that things were already finished. So if things were already, that already assumed things were finished, and it then said, how should we go since things were already finished? So let me think, where did I go? Donald Trump, reflexive control. Where did I start talking about that for? Dude, I saw something and it made me think of it. Oh yeah. So here's the thing you have to understand. So in 1991, when Ukraine was not invaded by anybody, right? Nobody invaded Ukraine. Like, this part was not invaded. This part was not invaded. No invasion. Like, all right. So in 1991, Ukraine voted to see if they wanted to be independent. And this is the result of the vote for independence. The lowest vote for independence was majority 54% in Crimea, but higher in the city. It was higher in the city. All right. So but But Elon Musk put out a poll that wanted to give away like half of, or like a big chunk of Ukraine over to Russia. Just wanted to give it away. But this is the reality. The reality is Ukraine voted in 1991 to be whole. It wanted to be independent, including Crimea, including Donbass region. Everything is Ukraine. This is all Ukraine. Now, Putin might want to say, oh, no, this is now Russian territory, so I can use nukes. No, that's not true. You cannot use tactical nukes. A nuke is a nuke. If you use a nuke, Putin, that's the same thing as a nuke. And you're gonna get fucked. I'm telling you. By everybody, not just the United States. Everybody's gonna come for you then. Once you use a nuke. Jeez. Yeah, that's not Russian territory at all. This is all Ukrainian territory. Now this is the map that should draw our interests, right? This is the map that should draw our interests. Wait a minute. This is a map of Russia divided into regions that more closely align to the groups of people that live there, right? Like Russia isn't one gigantic homogeneous zone. It's made up of many different ethnic groups, but they were conquered by Moscow. So all their resources are drawn to Moscow to be good for these people. Everyone's resources, I don't know where Moscow is. I'm probably pointing the wrong direction. But wherever Moscow is, like here, yeah, Moscow. Like, they draw all the resources. That's how imperialism works. You draw the resources from the colonies that you conquered, and you concentrate it in the center where the elites can use them for whatever they want to use. Right. So the best thing for Russia, nobody wants to invade Russia. Nobody is going to invade Russia. Nobody's going to invade Russia. Nobody. So the idea that Russia will have to nuke anybody, throw it out the window. Forget about it. Nobody's going to invade Russia. Nobody wants Russia. Nobody wants anything, right? Everybody's got their own stuff. Like, this is not for the outside people. The outside people didn't decide this. This idea came from people inside Russia. These are the Russian people's idea of what the Russia should do. Russian people thought we should divide like this. Because right now, all these people's resources are not helping these people. They're all being sent to Moscow. But if you can get rid of Putin, if you can get rid of the oligarchy that's strangling Russia, then you can make Russia into a more free country. And you can divide it up and make it so people are more equal. And when people are equal, they are more likely to cooperate. And then Russia can come together in a more efficient manner. Because right now it's held together very inefficiently, very poorly. No resources come out here to help these people. All the resources go to Moscow. The Russian people recognize this, so they want to make changes. The way this is going to happen is not from the outside. Nobody is going to invade Russia. What's going to happen is that Ukraine is going to regain all of its territory. And then stop. It's just going to get its territory back. That's all Ukraine wants. It never wanted to invade Russia. It never wanted to start anything. All it wanted is to be left alone. Just leave Ukraine alone. Just leave it alone. But what controls Putin, what controls Russia right now is Putin. is this power structure. Oligarchy. Imperialism. Imperialism has to expand. If it cannot expand, it will collapse in on itself. So, once Ukraine has regained its territory and forced Russia back into its own territory, Russia will have nowhere to expand to. It will turn on itself. That's the moment the Russian people have. That's their chance to make this happen. Russian people have an opportunity to throw off the chains of the oppressors and to institute a more fair division. To get rid of, because Putin does not represent, the oligarchy does not represent the people of the Russian Federation. They do not represent the people of the Russian Federation. The content does not match the form. Content form. The content does not match the form. The form does not match the content. Yeah, the Russian people have a chance to regain their freedom and to throw off their oppressors. That's the vision that the United States and all the allies need to be giving the Russian people. Not this repeating of Russian propaganda. When you repeat Russian propaganda, all you do is turn yourself into a Russian broadcasting station. I mean, you literally look like an antenna pushing out Putin propaganda. That's literally what you look like. Don't be a fool. Don't be a sucker. Don't be a sucker. You should be pushing out vibes, information, vibrations, frequencies that are going to help people. Things like this. This is a good vision to have. This is a good vision. This is a great vision. This is a vision of free people, unified, coming together, not through coercion, but through goodwill and mutual benefit. They're not being forced together. They're coming together because they love each other. That's what we want to put out. That's the vision we want to put out. Not the horrible vision of this guy.
And the thing that
not the horrible vision of this guy repeating Russian propaganda. Look at him, dude. He's literally a Russian antenna broadcasting Russian propaganda. Look at him. Look at him. You can see it on him. This is the thing we need to push out there. This is what we need to be talking about. Ukraine is independent. All of Ukraine is independent. Don't repeat Russian propaganda. Don't repeat the Russian lies. This is what you want to repeat over and over and over again. Ukraine is whole. Crimea is Ukraine. Donbass is Ukraine. Peace will come when Ukraine is whole. No one's coming for Russia. No one wants Russia. Russia needs to leave Ukraine. That's what needs to happen. It's not a hard game. The game isn't that hard to play. All you have to do is recognize where you stand. Where are you standing? That guy that I showed you from Minden, his brain is gone. He doesn't understand where he is because he gave up on the idea of truth. When you give up on the idea of truth, everything looks like everything else. This is the same as this. Why not, right? Why not? If there's no truth, why not? A Nazi is the same as a patriot. Why not? If you gave up on everything, if you give up on the idea of truth, why not? At that point, the only thing that matters is power. And that is Nazi. That's Nazi. That's fascist. If I'm being harsh, it's to drive home a point. Yeah.
And the thing that
right, this guy, he may not be the So this guy may not be the one pulling out your teeth, but he'll hire someone, he'll vote for someone to send an army to do it for him. He won't be pulling the teeth, but his soldiers will. This guy's a Nazi. This guy's a Nazi. He won't pull the teeth, but his soldiers will pull the teeth. He's a Nazi. Understand the connection. These two people, these two are connected. These are connected. This guy right here is connected to this torture chamber. They're connected. They're connected. So two Russian men stole a boat from Russia, took the boat to this island, which is American territory, and then sent themselves over as asylum seekers. They're claiming asylum, saying that if they go back to Russia, they'll be killed for their beliefs, that they don't want to go to war against Ukraine. How come DeSantis didn't come and kidnap these guys and send them to Martha's Vineyard? Oh, because Ron DeSantis is a white supremacist. Fuck. What's this? No, that's a lie. What's this? Oh. Okay. So this map shows you how the United States, the way it's set up in the United States, favors Republicans. Because of just the way the government is set up. It favors Republicans. So if you look at so check it out. I don't know what year this is, but Democrats won the popular vote for all statewide races and assembly. So there are literally more Democrats than Republicans, literally. But they are denied proportional representation in the assembly. So in the state assembly popular vote, Democrats won 54% of the vote compared to 46% of the vote for Republicans. But the way that it was reflected in government was that Republicans had a giant majority. Even though fewer people voted Republicans had a way larger portion of government, control of government. So state assembly popular vote versus seats won. So more people voted for Democrats, but Republicans control more of government. So more people voted for governor, and then the Democrat won the governor. More people voted for Senate, and then they went to control the Senate. Where did that come from? Yeah, that's I don't know about that. I don't know where I grabbed that from. I should have saved it. Man, I've been sloppy about screenshots. Deforestation in Brazil rose rapidly after President Bolsonaro took office in 2019, compared with the rates during Dilma Rousseff's and Michael Temer's presidencies. So Bolsonaro is a fascist. He's a Trump fascist, and he vowed to overthrow the government if he loses the election. So get ready, Brazil. And he is anti-environment. They all, Nazis and evil all come together. Perception of crime in the United States. So lately, people believe there's a lot more crime. But actually, so the majority of Americans reported that they believe crime has increased nearly every year between 1990 and 2020, according to the Gallup opinion polling. In reality, violent crime fell during all but 7 of those years, and property crime fell all but 2. So in other words, crime has been falling for the past 30 years. But the way media has been reporting it has made Americans think it has been rising this entire time. Who would benefit from the perception of rising crime? The Republicans, because they advocate for more police and harsher sentences and more guns. Man, it's so obvious. Republicans are Nazis. It's so obvious. Here's. No, I don't want to do. Fuck Donald Trump. So, remember how I told you this is a Nazi rally in Minden, Nevada. So Tommy Tuberville at Trump's Nevada rally, I don't know who he is, but he said a pretty racist thing. He said Democrats want reparations because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bullshit. They are not owed that. What do you mean Democrats want reparations because they think the people that do the crime are owed that? What is he talking about? Democrats want reparations. Well, I don't think Democrats want reparations. I think black people are the ones who've been saying it. I support reparations for black people for slavery. I don't think the Democratic Party does. But the way he worded this, information warfare, he is saying that black people who are the people, the descendants of the slaves, of the people that white supremacists enslaved, the people that Tommy Tuberville is a white supremacist. So Tommy Tuberville is a white supremacist. His ancestors enslaved people. And Tommy Tuberville is calling the people that his ancestors enslaved, he's calling them criminals. Because Tommy Tuberville is a white supremacist. And everyone Tommy Tuberville supports is a white supremacist. And everyone who supports Tommy Tuberville is a white supremacist. He was at Donald Trump's rally. Donald Trump was a white supremacist. All the people at Donald Trump's rally were white supremacists. Minden, Nevada is a sundown town. It's a town controlled by white supremacists. Birds of a feather flock together. I'm just letting you know. Well, I mean, it's coming down to it, right? It's coming down to it now. This is a really important election. The Nazis are coming out and telling you exactly how they're going to try to overthrow the country. They're telling us how they're going to overthrow the country. And they have a lot of support. There's a lot of Republicans, Nazis who are like, yeah, I agree with you. I think we should overthrow the government. Yes. They agree with them. Look at that guy who was happily repeating Putin's propaganda, anti-American propaganda. He was happily happily repeating this Russian propaganda. He was proud to repeat the Russian propaganda. He was on camera repeating Russian propaganda. That's how proud he was of being a Russian tool. And he's raring to go to overthrow American democracy. Look at him. That's your enemy, United States, my fellow Americans. That's what your enemy looks like. Enthusiastically supporting Russia against the United States. That's what your enemy looks like. Okay. So, I was born in the United States. And my mom was born in the United States. And yeah, my biological father, I guess, comes from a colony, from a nation that has suffered a lot of colonization, a lot of imperialism. And then my dad, the man who raised me and he comes from Mexico, which is a nation dealing with its own history of colonization. And we live here we lived in the United States. And then we moved to Nevada, and we moved to we didn't we couldn't live in Los Angeles because no money. So we moved out into the desert and got a government loan. The government gave us money to move to a place, and we couldn't, because of the loan, the nature of the loan, you couldn't live in the city. Right? It was a loan for rural people. So you had to live in the country to get the loan. So you couldn't live in this. So we lived in an area called Indian Hills. Indian Hills. Basically, like, yeah, like Carson City there was a reservation there. And then there was a town, Carson City. And then, like, but, you know, that was in the valley. And then over the next valley was Carson Valley. Like, there was Line Valley and then the Carson Valley. I don't know if Carson City was in Carson Valley. Anyways. But in between the two, there was a bunch of, like, badlands where you couldn't farm. It was, like, hilly. and the native reservation abuts the hills. But then the hills are called Indian Hills. And that's the area that that my family got to live in, because it was bad land and not good for anything. It was it was on the border between the two counties, because nobody wanted the land. So we're there. We got a government loan to settle there. That makes me a settler. But I didn't understand this until I started talking to a friend I had from United Arab Emirates, from Palestine, whose family's from Palestine. And I would talk about, we would talk about how the settlers were so bad in Palestine and in the West Bank, and how bad the settlers are and how evil they are. And then it like dawned on me that I am a settler. And then when I realized that I'm a settler, that kind of messed my head up. That kind of messed me up. But once I understood I was a settler, I could understand Native Americans better. Because then I started seeing all the evil, bad things that people in Carson City and Minden and Gardnerville did to the natives there. Like I was at the Carson Valley Parade, at the Nevada Parade, Nevada Day Parade. What, 149th anniversary? It was 150th. I don't know. I was there. It was right before I moved away, and there was a big float that went by, towed by a big rig, and it spewed out all sorts of nasty stuff, and it was for mining. And then right behind it, in a little tiny pickup truck, was the float for the Native Americans, the local tribe, the Paiutes, and they had to eat all of the shitty fumes that came off the big rig of the mining float right in front of them. And then, as they passed by, this white woman next to me started cursing them out, or was it a white guy or a white woman? I don't know, but started cursing out the natives. They started cursing out the natives, and I'm like, what? Unprompted. He just started putting out hate toward native people in their little tiny float that trailed the gigantic mining float as they ate all the fumes from the big rig. Man, like that was the salient moment when it was like, damn, settlers are bad people. I don't want to be a settler. Settlers are awful. Look at this evil person. I don't want to be that evil, hate-filled person. Jeez. I don't want to associate with them at all. They're evil. They're Nazis. And yeah, Carson City, Minden, Nevada, yep, controlled by Nazis. Yep, white supremacists. That's what they are. Yep, they're pro-Russia white supremacists. I'm pretty harsh. That sounds harsh, right? But that's because I believe there are more Americans than white supremacists. So now I'm in the mood to be like, yo, let's like make our presence known. Right? It's time to make sure that people know that, yeah, we know you're a Nazi. Yeah, of course you're a white supremacist. You may not know you're a white supremacist, but everyone else knows you're a Nazi. The sooner you realize you're a Nazi, the better everyone else is. Because then you can stop being a Nazi. Or you can continue to be a Nazi, but that's going to be in some bad times for everybody. Another thing that came to me, I guess this is the last thing I'll leave you with, is this. sometimes I'll find something and it will literally be the best thing, the best method, the best technique, the best design, the best whatever. It is literally the best. But I won't know it's the best. I don't know it. I can't know it because I don't really know what I'm looking for or what it is I'm after. I won't know it. So I'll have it, but I'll be unsatisfied. Even though it's the best, I don't know it's the best. And so I will go out searching and looking and trying and fiddling and buying different brands and different stuff and trying all these different things. And every one of them I'll try will be not quite right. Something will be off about it. And I wouldn't have known that something was off about it if I didn't have the example of it being not there to begin with first. And so after a long time of trying all these different things, I will come back to the very, very first thing and be like, yeah, this is the best thing. This is the best one. And then be content with it. But I had to find it and then go and then leave it and go around the long route to try everything else first to be like, yeah, those all suck. To come back to the very, very first thing and be like, yep, this is the one. Yep. The very first thing I found. That's happened so many times to me. That it almost seems like a truism. Like I can't that there's no shortcut way of finding the best thing. There's no shortcut way of finding it. You have to find everything bad first before you can find the thing that you really, really like. Because you won't know why it's so good until you find why it's bad. Or why not having it is bad. That's what I mean. Yeah, it takes the long, circuitous route to find out what it is. I had to find everything bad first before I just came back to the thing I had to begin with to say, oh, this is the best. But now I know why it's the best, and that's the difference. Now I know why it's the best, and I can defend it. So, okay, America. Until next time, make sure you vote. Make sure you're registered. Make sure you see clearly what's going on. Until next time, Pogo Kiddo out. Peace. Stop.